Hey everybody, how you doing? Pretty provocative thumbnail and title today. That's because we have very big news. Bitcoin is at $23,933. Ethereum is at $1,875. And the big headline today, the big news, is that BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, with $10 billion of assets under management, will now offer Bitcoin, spot Bitcoin, directly to their high net worth clients. These are not individuals. These are the biggest of big clients. These are sovereign wealth funds. These are central banks. These are everybody. This is the biggest of big money. This is Wall Street writ large. That is a very double-edged sword. And I have been saying this kind of quietly for a while, but now that the BlackRock news is hitting, it's really setting in. Why? Why is this good and bad? Well, let's just go over the facts. Their investment manager BlackRock has launched a private trust offering U.S.-based institutional clients exposure to spot Bitcoin. The trust will be available to U.S.-based institutional clients and will be BlackRock's first product that offers direct exposure to the price of Bitcoin. Quote, "Despite the steep downturn in the digital asset market, we are still seeing substantial interest from some institutional clients in how to efficiently and cost-effectively access these assets using our technology and product capabilities." And boy, oh boy, do they have some technology and product capabilities. We will talk more about that in just a moment. I'm trying to pull up the app on my phone so that I can watch this stream and see your comments at the same time. I know that's not the perfect way to do it, but it is a way that's pretty easy and works. Moving on. Some facts that you should know about BlackRock. Thank you, Business Insider, for offering these bullet points, exactly what I needed. 1, BlackRock oversees $10 trillion, making it the largest money manager in the world. 2, it runs a massive technology platform that oversees at least $21.6 trillion in assets, and that is at least $21.6 trillion. My understanding is that everybody in the major, mega, macro institutional investing world uses BlackRock's information and software. And BlackRock hoovers up so much information, it becomes this gravity well, right? Think about Google. You're familiar with Google. That's because it's a consumer-facing product and you use it, right? On a consumer side, you're very familiar with it. You're also, if you're watching this, probably familiar with the fact that Google uses that data to make the search even better. And in fact, they've gotten so good at that. And it's a data set that is now so large and so deep and covering so much of the earth that it will be nearly impossible for anybody to catch up and surpass Google by virtue of data, right? Maybe other search engines can get some margin on Google by offering something that Google doesn't, a la DuckDuckGo, who doesn't collect personal information. Their whole shtick is that they don't collect personal information. Now, DuckDuckGo did recently admit that they censor results. So a lot of the privacy folk are also all the anti-censorship folk, and they left DuckDuckGo for others. Like presearch.com. That's one that I've been using. I like it so far. Think about that in the investment world. Think about a Google in the investment world. Somebody who has access to enormous amounts of data and hoovers up all of that data and analyzes it intensely with the best algorithms and computers in the world that are always getting better. That's BlackRock's technology. And by my understanding, they really have reached a point where no other institution can touch them. They are the largest asset manager in the world by a pretty wide margin because their technology is so dang good. Their data analysis is so dang good. And in a way, because they manage so much money, it is almost kind of self-fulfilling. If they decide to put a lot of money into something, that thing's going to go up in price. They can move markets pretty easily. BlackRock has hired many former government officials into senior roles. Interesting. The firm played a significant role in aiding the Federal Reserve in early 2020. The Federal Reserve tapped BlackRock during the last financial crisis too, in 2008. Larry Fink, the CEO and I believe founder, has been vocal on matters of climate change. Well, isn't that great? Aw, shucks. Larry Fink is a bleeding heart earth lover. He just can't bear to see Mother Jaya suffer under the burden of capitalism. Wow. Good thing for us. Lucky for us, the largest asset manager on planet Earth with an unbelievable amount of power really loves Mother Earth. Whew. Larry Fink has been vocal on matters of climate change, urging other company leaders to consider the associated risks. Yes, consider the risks. We will talk more about that in just a moment. But his firm has been scrutinized for its record on supporting shareholder requests for climate-related disclosures. It has long been rumored that Fink himself could head to D.C. That's not going to happen. He would lose power by going to Washington, D.C. He is more powerful in his current position. Governments are a descending in power institution. They are losing grip on society, where business is doing just fine. In fact, business has been ascendant for many years. Larry Fink is more powerful than the people in D.C. Period, full stop. That's the truth. And the people on the American left side of the political spectrum will agree with me, because the argument that is often made is that business has captured politicians. Business has captured D.C. Who do you think those businesses are? Larry Fink is the guy. Larry Fink has got Washington, D.C. on a leash. Why would he go to D.C.? He's doing just fine controlling D.C. from where he's at right now. BlackRock has made lots of acquisitions. Well, of course they have. They have no problem with that because they've got all the money in the world. All right, that's BlackRock in a nutshell. The phrase that was not used in that rundown was environmental, social, and governance. ESG. Have you heard this one before? Environmental, social, governance is the idea, it is the movement, it is the framework that a lot of businesses, big business, are using to indicate whether they are environmentally friendly, right? Who can be trusted to decide if a company is environmentally friendly? Are they going to police themselves? That doesn't seem like it's going to work. Maybe bleeding heart, earth-loving Larry Fink of BlackRock can tell us if we meet the standard. BlackRock has been a huge proponent of ESG. They have advanced this idea out into the world and is gaining more and more traction. This is the vector that people are going to come after proof of work for. This is the thing that they're going to attack Bitcoin on. It uses too much energy, therefore it is bad for the environment. We must change Bitcoin for the good of the earth, you see. Definitely not for the capture of cutthroat businessman Larry Fink to own more of the world than he currently does. If you can't tell, I don't trust BlackRock or Larry Fink. You watch movies and TV. We all do, right? Remember Lord Business from the Lego movie? The cartoon version of an evil, cutthroat, take every penny you can capitalist. Now, believe me, I'm a capitalist, right? I believe in capitalism, but I also think that capitalism run amok exists. Capitalism is a tool, can be used for good or bad. This is definitely something that's beyond just regular old specialization and trade. Larry Fink is doing something else. It is macro ugly domination. So Larry Fink is Lord Business. Larry Fink is Evil Corp. BlackRock is Eagle Corp from Mr. Robot. Remember them? Evil Corporation, if you ever watched Mr. Robot. How about Mr. Burns? That's probably a touchstone that everybody's familiar with. Doesn't care about anyone or anything, certainly doesn't care about the environment. Do you remember that Mr. Burns ran a nuclear power plant, and often that was a catastrophe for the environment around Springfield? A recurring gag in The Simpsons. That's Larry Fink. And I'm not the only one making this observation. Scott Melker, the Wolf of Wall Street, definitely gets it. Everybody's still celebrating BlackRock. Well, here's Larry Fink himself, the Emperor, the Lord of Darkness, the Dark Sith. There he is, ladies and gentlemen. Lark Davis gets it too. Reminder, BlackRock is not your friend. While their arrival to the Bitcoin space is important, here's the truth. Screw those guys. Stack Hodler, not a fan of BlackRock, but the world needs honest money, and large institutions buying Bitcoin means political cover. A large part of Bitcoin's power relies on their control of corporate governance, but Bitcoin doesn't give an F about Larry Fink's opinion. Bullish. Okay, so Stack Hodler thinks that this is net positive because it's going to make institutions able to buy, it's going to drive adoption, yada, yada, yada. Hooray. Right? That is one easy narrative. Let me submit another. before I get there, let me continue. You remember Peter Thiel's address at the 2022 Bitcoin conference in Miami? He talked about ESG. He also talked about Bitcoin's enemies. And he named names, right? He had an enemies list. Warren Buffett was definitely on that list. The man's no stranger to hating Bitcoin. Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan Chase, also an enemy of Bitcoin, and he has been very vocal against Bitcoin, has said that he doesn't like Bitcoin, that it's garbage. Who else did he name? Larry Fink. Interestingly, Larry Fink didn't say, I think Bitcoin is garbage. No. He said, I see opportunities in digitized crypto blockchain related currency, and that's where I think it's going. Peter Thiel made the point of saying in this address that pro-crypto, pro-blockchain is anti-Bitcoin, right? Because if you're advancing a narrative about crypto and blockchain, but you're not saying Bitcoin, there's a categorical difference between those two. Blockchains can be owned, can be private, can be managed, can be centralized. Crypto is just, the word hardly means anything now. It encompasses so much garbage. Why really would you want to stake yourself on or plant your flag on crypto per se? Not ideologically. It's just, sure, maybe you can make a quick buck flipping cryptos, but that's not an ideological stance. Peter Thiel made the point that Larry Fink is an enemy to Bitcoin. And he specifically calls out ESG because that's the vector that Bitcoin is currently and will be attacked on. This news is coming a week after BlackRock announced that they were partnering with Coinbase. Do you think Coinbase is a real fan and advocate for the goodness and rightness of Bitcoin in the world? Or are they an altcoin casino where the vast majority of their retail buyers end up losing money because they're trying to YOLO into 1000x dog coin? That's the direction that Coinbase has gone, right? Coinbase has gone the direction of profit in fiat above all else. Our users be screwed, right? The good of the user be damned. They partnered with BlackRock, and now BlackRock is going to offer Bitcoin to their institutional high net worth buyers. Boy, guys, this is a double-edged sword. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink says, the hits on BlackRock's website were 3,000 hits on COVID, 3,000 hits on monetary policy, and 600,000 hits on Bitcoin. This tells us Bitcoin has caught the attention and imagination of the people. You don't say. Fun fact from Larry Silbert, BlackRock advises and invests money for many of the central banks around the world. Another fun fact, central banks now have an easy, safe way to invest in Bitcoin. It was my belief, it was my supposition that central banks were already buying, governments were already buying Bitcoin in one way or another, but this basically opens the floodgates. If this isn't the floodgates opening, then I do not know what is. This lets all of the biggest of investors start buying through BlackRock. The largest asset manager in the world now offers direct Bitcoin spot exposure. Why would they do this? Because they've gotten tremendous demand from their high net worth clients. Also interesting, Bitcoin is the primary subject of interest from our clients within the crypto asset space, yada, yada, yada. This is what I thought was interesting. It was BlackRock that put pressure on Elon Musk regarding Bitcoin energy consumption when Tesla bought $1.5 billion of Bitcoin. So Tesla bought $1.5 billion and then they sold not that long later because of its environmental impact, you see. Well, that's strange because the environmental policies of Bitcoin didn't change at all from the time that Elon Musk and Tesla bought and the time that Elon Musk and Tesla sold. Weird. Did they not do their homework first? Well, I don't think it's that. Elon and Tesla are smart people spending lots of money. They're going to do their homework. What happened is Larry Fink and BlackRock, and probably the government as well, because we certainly know that those two are in bed with each other, told Elon, you know what? You should probably sell those. Yeah, it would be a shame if you weren't, ESG compliant. It would be a shame if the EPA had to come after you, saying that you were not supporting the environment, you and your electric cars. Elon Musk, who has probably done more to advance renewable energy use than anybody else, they would come after him. They would absolutely come after him. So when Elon sold that Bitcoin, it was very weird. It was out of nowhere. It seemed very out of character. The statement did not sound like Elon at all. He didn't deliver any of it in his own voice. I think it was because BlackRock et al. Were coming after him and forcing him to do it. Will Clemente, I thought BlackRock was supposed to care so much about ESG that they would never touch Bitcoin. I thought institutions getting active in this market was a meme. So many signals to the rest of the traditional finance space about this being a legitimate asset class. He's right. there's a lot of major institutions that want to buy, and now they have a way to do it. They also happened to mention a small sub $100 million market cap crypto in their press release, and it surged by 30%. Look at that jump out of nowhere. Boom. Zero Hedge. Guys, we don't really need 87,000 IRS agents. Quote, Bitcoin is the index of money laundering from BlackRock in 2017. And then BlackRock in 2022. We are seeing substantial interest from some institutional clients in how to efficiently and cost effectively access these assets. All right. That was a quick run through of all of these tweets, but now this is just me, right? It's not me responding to all of the tweets or riffing on any particular idea. It's just this. This is a double-edged sword. Will it make the price of Bitcoin go up because now there is a much larger pool of capital that has access to it, and that pool of capital actually does want Bitcoin? Yes, that will happen. So you will see the value of your sats, the value of your stack go up probably very substantially over the next, I don't know, right? It's up a bit today, but it's not going to go up substantially overnight. It's not like these institutions can mobilize huge amounts of capital upon the announcement. It's going to take some time. So you're lucky as a retail buyer, you can get in now, right? You can probably deploy your capital right away. However, you're going to see the value measured in dollars of your stack go up substantially. The purchasing power of your dollars will go up quite a lot. But we do not want BlackRock to be the custodial owner of a meaningful portion of the Bitcoin out there. And they could do it. They could absolutely do it. Central banks can print money out of nothing. We've seen that a lot over the last couple of years. Trillions of dollars from the United States Central Bank, also all the other central banks, the European Central Bank, Japanese Central Bank, the Chinese have printed tons of money. These banks can print money out of nothing, ex nihilo. That's why it's less valuable. But they're going to trade that for Bitcoin. They're going to try to trade that for Bitcoin. And you're going to be very tempted to sell your Bitcoin to buy stuff, right? Do you want a bigger house? I do. I absolutely do. Do you want a nicer car? I'm driving a 12-year-old sedan that I don't particularly love. That wouldn't start this morning. It's perfectly serviceable, just needed a jump. But man, would I prefer to have a Cybertruck when those become available? Yes, I would. I've already put in my pre-order. But now I have this huge internal conflict. Is it even ethical? Is it even moral of me to sell my Bitcoin if I know that it's going to go to BlackRock, Evil Corp, Mr. Burns, Lord Business? This is the guy who's going to be buying the Bitcoin that you put out there. And who's going to be funneling it to? Central banks. Boy, oh boy, guys, this is a double-edged sword. You will see your net worth in dollars go way up if you are holding and buying Bitcoin right now. Oh, but I sure hope that we can hold out and not sell. I think we need a circular Bitcoin economy. I think we're going to need that soon, right now, ASAP. Because we still have to buy stuff. You still have to buy stuff. I still have to buy stuff. We still have to pay for food and rent and gas and groceries and insurance and travel and entertainment, all of the things. But if you are trading your Bitcoin for dollars, then the Bitcoin is going to centralize in the hands of the central planners. And that, my friends, that is the one major threat to the Bitcoin blockchain that I am legitimately afraid of. It's that or a cosmic impact. It is either an asteroid the likes of which wiped out the dinosaurs, or it is a takeover by the likes of Larry Fink. There you go. All right, good luck. Buy now while you still can, because every major institutional bag of money and the money printers are coming for your Bitcoin. Thanks. Let me know what you want to talk about in the future, and we will address it in a future video. Bye.